So, good evening, friends. We are on day 15 of Brand 10,000 W Combinator 100 Days to Leadership Transformation Series. And we have another very special person with us today to share her experiences. On behalf of GCPIT, I extend a very warm welcome to all of you to this wonderful evening. Before introducing the speaker, let me introduce myself. I am Aparna G. Kumar, the Global Co-Chairperson of GCPIT, that is a Global Council for the Promotion of International Trade, a not-for-profit registered in India and South Africa. The mission of GCPIT is to handhold, empower, and support SMEs globally. For those who have been asking us how to get connected with us after seeing our sessions, you can mail us at contact@gcpit.org. And if you think you are an exceptional leader or you wish to get supported and handholded by us in your business growth and business transformation, you can also connect us in the same email ID. It seems as though everywhere you turn, digital transformation is happening. But what is digital exactly and what does it encompass? In today's session, our speaker will help you better understand the definition of the terms associated with digital transformation. For people, processes, and technology, the risks of ignoring the digital transformation trend and the rewards one can garner from digital transformation. She will be talking about the different stages of digital maturity and the best ways to draw inspiration and insights from digital native companies like Google, Amazon, Netflix, as well as from the digital immigrant companies like FedEx and Domino's Pizza. Let's listen to our speaker today. She is Ms. Ritu Singh. She is a group of IT governance Adani Enterprises Limited, an engineering graduate with a dual MBA. She sees herself as a visionary leader with pioneering success in delivering optimal results and business value while spearheading IT delivery and strategy, operations and service delivery functions. She has had the privilege of working with reputed organizations across diverse industries like pharma, manufacturing, FMCG, IT, ITES during the 24 plus years of her professional career. She has proven project people management skills, professional competencies in mobilizing and judiciously managing resources with structured inputs for project accomplishment within defined time, cost parameters, and improving skills. Being an articulate communicator who can fluently speak the language of both people and technology, blending technical expertise with interpersonal skills while interacting with cross-functional teams, customers, vendors, and stakeholders has always proved to be an advantage for her. She enjoys getting out of her comfort zone, doing something new, innovating towards people growth, keeping the creative juices flowing within the newer generation. Learning through interactions and healthy discussions forms part of her daily routine. She lives to the principle of if there is a problem, there is bound to be a solution. We just have to find it. Getting too excited about successes or getting stressed about failures isn't her cup of tea. She firmly believes that this too shall pass, a tattoo that she proudly displays and reads every time the Libran balance falters. Let me proudly invite Ms. Ritu Singh, Group Head IT Governance Adani Enterprises Limited and the winner of GCPIT's Global Women in Leadership Award this year. Ms. Ritu Singh, over to you. It's an honor to have you with us today.
Thank you so much, Aparna. It's always a pleasure interacting with you. And every time you give that kind of an introduction, I actually feel humbled. I feel like I wish I could actually live up to every word that you have said. I do try to do that. I attempt to do it every day. But thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me here as well.
Thank you, Ritu. Thank you so much for joining us. Actually, it's always a pleasure interacting with you as well. So you can start.
Okay, so just to start, I'll actually share my screen. I have put up a very short kind of a presentation which I would want to walk us through. And yeah. Okay, so so when you're talking about digital transformation, there are quite a few people who, every time you'll hear words like digitization, digitalization, digital transformation. So there are people who actually come and question what exactly is it? Why is it that, it is, there's so much of hype around it? Why is it that there's so much of noise about this word called digital transformation? So I just thought, let me just walk you through what exactly digital would mean and what does it mean for us? We are like, we learners in that particular area. So how is it that, what does it mean for us? Digitization is the basic, the first step where you see that, a newspaper instead of, so when we got into the pandemic situation, nobody would actually go in for a Times of India or any newspaper, Hindustan Times physical paper, right? What did we do? We quickly jumped to the app. We jumped to the website. That is digitization. Digitization is just a conversion of whatever you have physically, you're making it available in the digital format. That's digitization. What exactly is the next step in it? Digitalization. So when we talk about newspaper, news app, something which takes it a step ahead. So when you use digital technologies to improve the business process and business models, that's what becomes digitalization. Now, as an example, if we talk about Times of India as an app, there was a time when it was completely free, and there was no money associated with it. What did Times of India do? They came up with the Times Prime. What that is, the editorials, the studies that they are doing, the analytics that they are drawing, they're now making it through a different business model, which is going to be paid. So when that forms part of your business model, it becomes digitalization, because that is now creating an avenue for earning more money for the business. What is digital transformation then? When this digitalization impacts the entire organization, when it is touching the humans part of it, the business processes, all the business processes, not just about IT, no, it is not just that. When it is impacting all the business processes, that's when it is ingrained in the DNA. That is digital transformation. So when do we start? Where do we start? How do we start? Lots of questions that every organization which has probably thought that they've missed the bus, many people will be asking this question. So what are the levels of maturity? So, I would say if you have a Facebook account, you have a Twitter account, you're kind of digitally marketing yourself, you've got emails being sent out to customers and everything, you are there. You're already there in the digitally active frame, you're already there. So there's nothing that stops you from going to the next level. The next level would be digitally engaged. So for digitally engaged, what exactly is required is there has to be an operating model in place. So when you have an operating model in place, you have some process automations in place, you have advanced analytics which are being used. So when you use all of these advanced technologies, you become a digitally engaged organization. The next level to a digitally engaged organization would be a digitally competitive organization. So when you are a digitally competitive, how would you actually identify that? So when the digital solutions and processes are being utilized not only to drive the revenue of the organization, but also helping you to forecast what exactly would be expected. What is the next that you can expect from the business perspective? So when you are able to forecast the future needs, the requirements, then it becomes a digitally competitive organization. So this digitally competitive organization is going to be using a lot of artificial intelligence, obviously. But when you are a digitally mature organization, you are harping big time on artificial intelligence. This is where you are talking about the likes of Amazons, the likes of Googles of the world, where you have interactive bots. Whenever you have your own experience, if you see, if you have to return some merchandise that you have purchased from Amazon, what do? You put your information there that this particular thing, this particular merchandise is not fit for use, or not this, not that, whatever other options available. The person will come and collect it and it's gone. That is digitally mature. Why? It is reading your mind. It knows what is the kind of input that you would be giving, or any customer would be giving for that matter, and then giving you those kind of options so that you don't need to interact with any human behind that particular exercise that you're trying to do. So that is the level of maturity. However, when I talk about the level of maturity, it doesn't mean that you have to focus on being a digitally mature organization. Not required. All you need to do is start where you are. Start so that you are able to achieve wherever you are, you achieve the next level. Once you achieve the next level, maturity will come by itself. So my point here was more about wherever you are in the game, you're ready to start. Just start. Starting is where the entire challenge is all about right now. So what exactly is digital transformation, and what exactly it means for a person like me? So digital transformation is basically a cultural, organizational and operational change of the entire ecosystem through smart integration of the digital technologies, processes, and competencies. Now, there will be people who will come and tell you about the technical sides. There are lots of courses available, lots. In fact, I completed one on digital transformation just today on LinkedIn Learning. Beautiful course, wonderful. In fact, if anybody is interested, I would actually recommend that course as well. A wonderful course that you understand the technical aspects of what exactly digital transformation entails. However, when you talk about digital transformation, there is a cultural part to it and there is a human part to it. So when we talk about competencies, when we talk about cultural and organizational change, it is the change part of it, which is actually touching humans as well. So why do we need to pursue digital transformation? So digital transformation is not just about the, as I just mentioned, it's not about disruption or it's not just about the technology. It is basically people evolution, people-oriented evolution. How is it that you kind of optimize the value that you can drive and you can adapt to the newer technologies all through people? Basically, it's supposed to be people-centric. So which is why when we talk about digital transformation, while you'll hear n number of people talking about technically what is it that you want, you need agile, you need scrum masters, you need agile coach, you need to have an agile thought of mind and everything. I completely align with those leaders. However, what I feel is lacking in the entire training or whatever course that you would actually go through is the people aspect of it. So when we talk about pursuing digital transformation, the main crux of it is all about people-oriented evolution. What does technology do for digital transformation? Where is it that technology actually supports? Technology is just a lever for digital transformation. It will actually create value for the stakeholders. It'll innovate, it'll help you think and move forward. It'll also help you adapt to changing circumstances within and outside of the company. It is this is all that the technology part will do. So technically, we have a very restricted kind of scope for the technology to play in digital transformation. I wouldn't say just restricted. I would say there is a part that the technology plays, but the larger part is about the humans. So when you are ready, when you know what exactly you want to do, you want to be, you want to do digitization, you want to do digitalization, or you want to be digitally transform. When you're ready, then what is it that you have to do next? You have to start thinking about updating your business model. What exactly? So when I talk about business model, what am I talking about? So business model right now is all about revenue. How is it that you generate revenue? What is it that you can do to enhance the company's revenue? The organization has to grow, right? So when the organization has to grow, obviously you need money pumping in. That is the business model that we normally think about. Now, when we talk about digital transformation, people think about customer feedback. Focus on customer feedback. When you are taking a feedback from a person who's very heavily engaged on digital platforms like the Amazons of the world, you are automatically going to start thinking about what is it that Amazon is doing that I cannot do? What is it that Google is doing that I cannot do, or I can learn from them and then grow? What is it that makes a person, a youth of today, go to an Amazon and purchase merchandise there? Whereas my website, even though I would have that presence on the web, why is it that that same youth would not feel comfortable coming to my website and purchasing a similar item? That is where, when you start thinking about these modalities, is when you would realize that you need feedback. You need to be open for feedback. You have to, we have to actually help the teams embrace the change. When we are talking about business models, we talk finance, business modeling, and whatever whenever we are talking about revenue, it's all about finance, right? We'll go and talk to, okay, what all we can do to increase our revenue. What is it that we do for the EBITDA? What is it that we do for ensuring that, my top line, bottom line stays maintained the way it is? And how is it that I reduce my expenses and things like that? What is it that we are missing here? We are missing that our people are not aware of how the world is moving towards a digital framework. So when we talk about digital transformation, we are talking about feedback. When we talk about feedback, are we, or are our people, open to taking feedback? How is it that we will ensure that when we are telling the person that you are not going to write a paper invoice, you have to do an invoice on SAP or on a Zoho for that matter, how is it that the person will actually embrace that change? We are the change agents there. We are the ones who will actually help the team to understand and embrace the change. The tech tools, wide variety available in the entire world. You will have lots of architects and lots of DevOps teams and the people who are technically adept, who will come and advise you on what exactly the tools that you can use for your company. However, what is it that fits your culture? That is important. So when I see my own organization, there are people who have been in the organization for like 25, 26 years. If I expect a person who's been in the organization for 25 years doing the manual PRPOs and then expecting him to understand the SAPs of the world, I know I'm fitting him up for failure. I don't want to do that. What is it that I would do to ensure that this person does not feel out of place? He's still able to perform his job, and he's given the tools that actually fit his particular mindset and the culture that he comes from, the culture that he has been seeing for the last 20, 25 years. So that is what needs to be topmost, foremost in your mind when we are actually talking about getting the correct tools that fit the culture. Offer learning opportunities. Now, my team, for me, it is important that my team learns and is ready to take on anything that comes into their path. Similarly, when there is a challenge, like as an example that I give, my team told, when this pandemic came in, none of us was prepared for it. So my team was very clear that we are not going to come to office. We cannot put ourselves at risk, and not just ourselves. We've got small kids at home. We cannot actually risk them as well. Fine, absolutely okay. Don't come. How is it that we can enable you to still perform your tasks? Because work has to go on. We know that pandemic is there. How is it that the work still goes on? So a couple of people put their brains together, creative juices, right? Put their brains together, discussed, can we get this kind of a remote login tool? Fine, you can get that. Why not? We went ahead, we got the tool, we got the licenses, got that thing approved for them, and they kind of got started. Today, I don't think I had to teach anybody in my team or in the larger team rather to what exactly they need to do to handle the PRPOs of the day-to-day activities, handle the process part that they have to do, handle the development that they have to do, the testing that they have to do. Nothing was taught to them. They were just given that opportunity, which came out of the fly. Nobody was prepared for it. It came, we quickly adapted to it. So when you have a learning opportunity available, then why wouldn't these creative minds go and learn? They will definitely be very happy that they've got this kind of an opportunity. Right now, it was forced on us. Going forward, it could be, something that becomes a culture for us. We could actually just make it like, this is a training forum for us. Why don't you go and train yourself? So the last point on this one, when you are ready, what is it that you have to do? Consider any problem statement that comes your way. Think about a technical response to that problem. So if there is a problem statement which says that, okay, we have a real estate business. Now, we have customers who are coming in every second day to go and see the houses, the plots, and the house that we have made, the model house. And we've got our customer execs customer service executives, who would actually walk the people through the entire place. Now, come pandemic, what happens? Customers are not coming in. Still, inquiries are coming in. People still want to purchase houses. People will still want to purchase your merchandise or whatever service you are trying to sell. What will you do at that time? Think of a technical solution towards that. Consider using technology. That is the crux behind it. Instead of putting a human forward, enable the human through a technology. What would you do? Intelligent bot. Your customer service personnel has been having these questions, these inquiries over the last, I don't know how many years. Those inquiries, those questions can all be put together to form an intelligent bot. Why not? That could actually help. So that's just a random example that I'm giving. Think of it from that perspective, that whenever there is any problem statement coming your way, think of it that what is the technological solution that I can actually bring up for this particular problem statement. So what do you do considering the current situation? Pandemic, work from home. As I mentioned, be open to feedback. Any kind of feedback is most welcome. Focus on customer feedback. Customer satisfaction should be the core. Obviously, for anybody who is actually doing a business, customer satisfaction is very important, very important. How do we make it most important? How do we make it like learning from the customer when he is saying that, no, I don't find this, your website easy to navigate. What is it that you can do to make it easy for him so that next time he does not give that kind of feedback and he says that, these guys, they listen to my feedback. I'm going to go back to them again and again. Focus on customer feedback. Get the creative juices flowing. So at this time, when you know that there are so many issues happening, there are people who are risking their lives, who are risking their lives because of the role that they are playing in the organization. But there are some others who will not be willing to risk their lives. What is it that they can do while sitting at home? They can be innovative. And innovation, creative juices, they actually flow best when they are in constraints. So when anybody, think of it from yours or my perspective, if you're put under some constraints, you will find some way or the other to come out of those constraints. So get innovative, get the team to think about innovations. Train your team to adapt to change. So for that, of course, you have to be the leader for change, the change agent. So when you accept the change yourself, you'll be able to bring in that change to the larger forum as well. So while I talk about change, it's not easy. It's especially driving the change at an organizational level. Think of it from again, I go back to those examples of paper invoices or paper approvals that we used to take. Now, from that, I still remember I used to physically sign all the process documents, and unless those physically signed process documents are not uploaded to those sites and to the shared with the partners and all, it would all be considered to be non-compliant. Now, today, I have completely done all the process evaluations. I have done all process audits. I have upgraded all the processes without having to do any physical sign off. Why? Because I was open to adapt to this particular thing. I may not have been open to it had this pandemic not been there. But the pandemic actually forced me to think about how is it that I can change to adapt to the newer ways of working, how to be digitally more active, how to mature myself, my way of working to be still competitive in my work environment. So how is it that you drive the change? Now, there will be some early adopters, some people who will actually quickly pick up on the change that is actually coming in. So those could be your change champions, those change agents. They are the people who would actually then, share the vision across the entire organization. Change is there, but then why is the change important? What is it that is required to be done, and why is it required to be done? Communicate, over communicate, and let the people know why is it that we are doing what we are doing, and how is it that it's going to help them. Create opportunity for feedback. There will be some resistances, some major resistances will come your way, but once you're open to feedback, there will be slowly, you're listening to them, you are adapting, they are adapting, that resistance will ideally go away. Determine the training needs. So when we talk about people to change, there will be some people who will want to grow along with the change as well. Why go outside in the market and hire Scrum Masters for that matter? Why don't you train our own people and make them Scrum Masters? That is also an opportunity which has been thrown on us by this pandemic, I would say. So determine the training needs. Designate the change champions. While I say change champions, the first adopters, the early adopters, they are definitely your change champions. You yourself have to be the change leader. Once you change, you will definitely be an idol for many others who would be looking up to you and picking up that particular change. So when I talk about the digital transformation, I'm going back to the same original subject again. So what is it that you would see as commonalities between Amazon, Google, Airbnb, Netflix versus the FedEx, Walmart, Domino's versus the Kodak and the Nokias of the world? Commonality: Amazon, Google, Airbnb, Netflix, these are all digital native. They're born in cloud. So when you talk about Amazon, it's all about cloud. It's all about AI. It's all about customer experience. It's all about open to feedback. Talk about FedEx, Walmart, Domino's. They are digital immigrants. They were quick at adopting. They were very early on in the game. They were able to see where the world is moving, and quickly they adopted to that. Walmart, as an example, was still in its earlier stage. It was still about personal person-to-person mapping, person-to-person interaction. If I'm not mistaken, it was in 2016. They landed up buying out one organization which was completely digital native. What did that do to them? They became digital immigrants. very quickly, the processes and the internal DNA of the organization adapted to the digital innovations that were coming their way, and then they became digitally immigrant. They're one of the, in fact, quick adoption. They're one of the examples there. What happened to the Kodaks and the Nokias of the world? They refused to change when it was required to be there. The change was probably they delayed the change. They thought that things will, our companies are doing very well. Maybe the country will change for us, or maybe the entire environment will change for us. They did not change. What happened? Very quickly, they kind of perished. Not just perished, they had to actually redo their business model. They had to rework on where exactly they lost and what is it that they should do to then come back into the market. And then now, of course, Nokia is back into the market. Kodak, I don't think it's still there. But having said that, it's like early adopters, they will definitely win. Digitally native, there are very few organizations that are there, but there are huge things that we can learn from them. When we talk about the bots, we have actually learned what exactly a bot can do from the Amazons of the world, from the Googles of the world. FedEx, Walmart, Domino's, they are all there. They are all there now because they've already migrated into the digital world. All the other companies, all the other organizations, we all are learning from all of these who have been quick to adapt to change. They have been, they are just there. So wherever we are, when we look at them, we understand from them, we take the feedback, we listen to what exactly the customer is saying. The youth of today, the youth knows what exactly they want, how is it that they want, ease of business, ease of use. When we start listening to all of those, that is when we will ideally embark on the journey of digital transformation. So I don't have anything else to share on this one. However, I'm willing to take any questions or any feedback. Happy to take it.
Yes, thank you so much, Ritu. That was an awesome session. I enjoyed listening to you as always. And I think everyone who was listening to you also might have found the session useful. As you said, many of the times we miss out the crux of this digital transformation, the human part. And most of the time we miss out on taking the customer feedback also, which is very, very important for the survival of any business, I believe. And communicating with our team is also something which most of the times we take for granted, right? And yes. My key takeaway today is designating change champions. And as you rightly said, we have to be the change champions first. I think that is applicable in every thing we do now, right? The way things have changed during this pandemic, we really have to change the way we looked at things, and we need to be innovative in whatever we do. And as Mahatma Gandhi said, let us be the change we want to see in the world.
Absolutely.
And I request to our audience, if you like the session, please go to GCPIT's Facebook page and post your positive feedback there. I think we have a few questions. It's from Roshan. I'm sure you know Roshan. He is asking, he has asked 2 questions.
Roshan is only pulling my leg. That's okay.
Yeah, I know. I understand. Still, I am going to ask, what are the main obstacles in your opinion for implementing digital transformation in an organization?
So Roshan, I will address this to you, but the answer is actually, the question is actually very nice. The answer is in whatever I had spoken about till now. So the main obstacle is all about change. So when our people are resistant to change, anything is going to be a failure. So change management, organizational change management is the most important part for any organization to be successful in adopting the digital transformation.
Roshan, I hope,
no cross questioning, I hope.
Yeah. One more question is there. Ritu madam, you spoke about the cultural change. What is the culture needed for digital transformation? Again, Roshan.
Yeah, so when I spoke about cultural change, I didn't talk about cultural change. What I said was the tools that actually fit into your culture. What I also meant about culture is basically we have people who are literally 20, 25, 20 years into the organization who are actually used to one way of working. When you have to change that way of working, it is very important to be able to drive that change through a cultural impact. It has to have that impact that it is not demotivating to that particular person. He still gets to do his job and he is motivated to learn more because he is actually advancing in his career. He is learning more. He's actually becoming more matured in the way he's doing. He's going to be more productive in the way he's actually working. So that is the cultural change that needs to be brought in. And to fit into this digital transformation piece, I mentioned about the tools that can actually adapt to your culture. So what are the tools that actually fit into your culture? When you have people who are not comfortable with SAP, what is it that you would do? You would not force SAP onto them. You would actually do a simpler thing, maybe a Zoho kind of a tool that you would bring in, or you would bring in something which is even more simple. You would just bring in an Excel for that matter. Excel can always be imported into any other tool, right? So something that actually works for your organizational culture is what you have to look at. That is the tool that I'm talking about.
Okay, here with one more question. Roshan, would you like to unmute and ask, what are the most common jobs one can expect during bringing out digital transformation in his organization?
I think I just answered that. So
I think that is...
The roadblock is mindset. It's the mindset change. As Pinky mentioned, it's basically a mindset change. It's a mindset growth. It's the change the organizational change that is the major roadblock that you can actually encounter.
Okay, so I think she has answered your question, Roshan. Any other questions?
Again, you will ask another one.
Yeah. No more questions from Roshan will be accepted. Any other questions from anybody else? I don't see any questions.
I actually like the statement that Pinky just made. We should automate now for a better tomorrow.
Exactly, you're right. And yeah, we should automate now for a better tomorrow. And it's more of a mindset change. So, any other questions? Yes, Roshan says all as well. Thank you. Don't have questions. So if there are any more questions, I'll share it with you.
Sure, anytime.
Okay, so I think now in the session, and it was very amazing. Thank you so much, Ritu, for joining us today. It's an honor, as I mentioned. On behalf of GCPIT, I thank you so much for this.
So this is Pinky here from Infosys.
Yes, Pinky.
I just unmuted myself. I would like to thank Ritu for all the hard work she's done in bringing the slides up and to take it through very simply for any novice to understand what is digital transformation. Now, it's an interesting topic right now, very hot in the market, but to make a layman understand takes some guts and will to bring it up. Yeah.
Thanks, Pinky.
The simplicity in which it has been brought out is really good. Thank you. Wonderful session, as always.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pinky. And on behalf of GCPIT, I thank our audience as well. Thank you so much for being with us all through this series. We hope these sessions are useful to you and will help you in your journey on once the pandemic is over. And if you want to connect with Ritu, you can go to our website, gcpit.org, and you have an option to connect to her through email. And as I mentioned in the beginning, if you feel you are an exceptional leader and you want to join us in our mission, please contact us at gcpit.org. See you all tomorrow. Till then, this is Aparna G. Kumar signing off. Stay safe and take care. And Ritu, would you like to add something? And for us,
Thank you.
closing-
Thank you so much. Roshan, you definitely have my number.
Roshan, as a punishment, you have to join every day, okay? So that was an amazing session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Aparna. Thanks so much. It's wonderful connecting every time that you do bring me on. Thank you.